mercury and autism, you name it, everything is linked to mercury toxicity. All autoimmune disease has been linked to toxins in some way, shape or form.
There is 63% chances of mortality as compared to moderate smoking, inactivity, and sugar. Can you imagine? This vegetable oil is 63% more deadly than any of these things.
It's a killer. There should be no vegetable oil, seed oils in anybody's diet. It's not food. It's an industrial lubricant.
Do you think thyroid is really a disease? We have like over 2,000 cases where we have reversed the symptoms people were having. We just worked on their liver.
Detoxing literally saved my life. Everyone has parasites. This is what they don't realize. And it's as simple as bringing your shoes into the home. Plastic bottled water isn't great either. Studies have shown there's a high amount of microplastics now in water. Minix, this was originally used to reverse autism in children when it was FDA approved. It's currently not FDA approved. They removed it for approval. And you have to question why. Maybe because it was working too well.
Welcome to second episode of Miduty Talks. Today we have Zakia Rahmat. She has a degree in human biology. She is a qualified science educator. She has courses in holistic health and naturopathy. Now the question is, why she? As you guys know, I'm a part of biohacking group here in Dubai. And these are the people who have healed themselves. She has over the years healed herself, her chronic illness, which we will explore. I'm gonna hear directly from her. So Zakia is from UK. Now she is in Dubai and she helped people heal too. So welcome Zakia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Palak. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, so Zakia, you healed yourself. Can you tell about your journey? What were you doing when you planned to switch the careers and help other people?
Sure. So it started around about 10 years ago when I started having a whole bunch of random symptoms such as insomnia, chronic fatigue, just low energy. I was just lethargic all the time. And the list goes on. It was an endless list of symptoms. And I was just gradually getting worse and worse. I went to so many different doctors, 3 different countries, in fact, here in Dubai, in the UK, where I'm from, in Saudi, while I was living there as well. And not one of them could tell me what was wrong with me, and nor could they help me. So I was given a whole bunch of different diagnoses, such as chronic fatigue syndrome. I was tested for multiple sclerosis. I was told, oh, it's just insomnia, or maybe it's just in my head, which was the most hurtful one because these symptoms were physical to me. And, on a daily basis, I was struggling to survive. That's what it felt like. It felt like my body was giving up. Basically, it felt like I was dying. So that's when my journey began. I started studying. I started learning. I joined a whole bunch of Facebook groups. And I could say that Facebook literally turned my life around. I learned so much. I studied naturopathy, like you said, holistic health. I already had the background in human biology. So I had a good base to begin with. And I discovered my root causes. And that's when I realized if you don't know what your root causes are, how on earth are you supposed to heal? So for me, it turned out to be heavy metal toxicity from 7 or maybe 8 teeth fillings that I had. Now, not just the normal teeth fillings. I'm talking about the metal ones, which are made out of mercury.
Mercury, yeah.
And as you know, mercury is highly toxic.
Yeah.
And doctors were putting these things in our mouths next to our brains. Every time we chew on them, every time we drink something hot, there's vapor being released. We swallow some of it. It ends up in our digestion. It ends up going through the intestine into the bloodstream. And once it's in the bloodstream, where does it end up? Anywhere in the body, including the brain. So it can cause any and every symptom under the sun. You name it, you can look it up. If you put in chronic fatigue and mercury, there's evidence there. There's research there. Chronic fatigue and mercury and autism, you name it, everything is linked to mercury toxicity. So once I found out it was my teeth fillings, I had them removed. And even the removal process is complex. It shouldn't just be done by a standard conventional dentist. It should be with a holistic biological dentist who follows something called the SMART protocol. So I made a lot of mistakes along the way in the process because I had some of those unsafely removed, which caused more exposure to mercury. So once I had them removed, then I began detoxing, and detoxing literally saved my life. I have no doubt about that.
Uh-huh.
So now I want to teach people about this.
Amazing. I did the same before I got pregnant. When I thought about I want to have a baby, I removed my mercury filling. And I remember now, even the functional doctor did not tell me to pop up charcoal pills the same day. At that time, I was in Germany. And 2015 was that. 2015, I just had one. I don't had any symptoms, but mercury eventually, in India, so doctors ask always, do you want to have an expensive one or a cheaper one? So expensive one is this with ceramic, cement, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we always, at that time, we did not take care. We was like, okay, the cheaper one, because it's just at the back. No, nobody's gonna watch it. So I had one. I had no symptoms, so I removed it too. But the same day I removed, I pop in lot of charcoal pills.
Yes, charcoal is so important before and after the removal procedure, and a biological dentist will know that, and they will prescribe that to their patients. That's the safe way to do it for sure.
So you had 8 of them.
Yes.
Then you removed, if people have, let's say, 3 of them, how long they should take between one removal and the other removal, how long?
Yeah, so the biological dentist will be the best one to advise on that. They shouldn't be done all at the same time.
Yeah.
It also depends on which side of the mouth that they're on. So sometimes you might remove the ones on one side and then wait a few weeks and then the other side, so that there's a gap in between for your body to detox and process any exposure that you've had during the removal process. Because even when it's done safely, there will be some redistribution of heavy metals within the body.
Yeah.
So, the liver needs to be supported in that process as well. Taking milk thistle, for example, is really important because it's going to be detoxed by the liver. The bile, the gallbladder needs to be supported as well. So taking something like Tudka, very important, or anything that tastes bitter like green tea will help to increase bile flow and remove the heavy metals from the body.
So once people have removed it, they cannot go to a normal doctor, right?
No, it should be done with a biological dentist, definitely, because then they will also, the whole process will be done holistically. Even the composite fillings should be non-toxic, because there are different types of composite fillings. They're not all safe. Some of them do have BPA in them, which is another toxin. So a biological dentist will be using BPA-free composite fillings. They'll also be using toxin-free anesthetic if that's needed in the process.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so once we have removed the fillings, I think the symptoms aggravate because there's little bit of, let's say, more toxic exposure inside. So how do you start the detox protocol?
Yeah. So normally when I'm working with a client who's going through this process, I will begin prepping them before they even go for the removal. Okay. If they've met me before the removal, right? So in that sense, they will start supportive supplements. The core supplements would be vitamin C, ideally a natural source of vitamin C. Okay. Taking magnesium every day as well. A B complex, good quality, folic acid free B complex. Okay, so methylated is better, and zinc. All right, so these are what I call like the fundamental supplements that someone should be on, supporting the body in preparation, and they should continue those things, and they may need to increase the dosages throughout the day. So when you look at a supplement and you read the information on there, you'll see it's got the recommended daily allowance, but that is for someone who's healthy and just maintaining good health, not for someone who's having health problems or is on a protocol. So I work with supplements differently. We use them at therapeutic doses, and that might mean 4 times a day. if necessary, not forever, but whilst on the protocol.
On the protocol, yeah. Yeah, I always tell people, the biggest company worldwide, that I'm not going to take the name, they are selling multivitamins. They put folic acid. Supplements are double-edged swords, and then especially in India, people are scared, taking supplements in high doses, which I do myself. And okay, so you are trying to say, before getting your filling removed, support your body with vitamin C, magnesium, B complex, and zinc. Okay, they will prepare the body for.
They will help to start counteracting the effects of the heavy metals already in the body. And then they will also prep in case there is more exposure, which there will be during the procedure and afterwards, to help with detoxing. So everything's in place. We've got a good foundation for that process.
Okay. And what happens after?
So afterwards, now the person would need to ideally do a specific heavy metal detox using a chelating agent. Okay, so that could be something like OSR, which stands for oxidative stress release. That goes by different names. Another name it goes by is Erminix. This was originally used to reverse autism in children when it was FDA approved. It's currently not FDA approved.
Oh.
They removed it, the approval. And you have to question why. Maybe because it was working too well. But this is one of the best things that I have found in all of my studies on heavy metal detox to work really well. It's a compound that binds permanently, especially to mercury. So it binds very strongly. It doesn't let go of it until it's removed through the normal drainage pathways, usually the bowel movements. Okay, so this is one approach. Another approach that can be combined with OSR is called the Andy-Cotley for short. So this is using alpha lipoic acid every 3 hours for 3 days on and then 4 days off. This is called one round, but it's a slow process because we shouldn't move too much mercury or heavy metals in general at once, because that's when you get the most side effects and redistribution afterwards. So I don't believe in IV drips for heavy metal toxicity, especially when there's a high toxin load that's come from many teeth fillings like I had for many years, like I did from my childhood up to my early 20s, so that's a lot of exposure. If you consider your body as a bucket, all right, and over the years you're collecting toxins into your bucket, what's going to happen? At some point you're going to reach the top of that bucket and spill over. There's only so much the liver can do to keep on top of detoxing you. So if the body is overloaded with toxins and it can't keep up with detoxing, it spills over and now you have symptoms. And then if that continues, those symptoms turn into chronic health problems such as autoimmune disease. All autoimmune disease has been linked to toxins in some way, shape, or form.
Yes. When we reverse autoimmune diseases, we always say, like, where to start from. Should we start with food, or like gluten, dairy, cutting that? Should we start with stress? It's never one way approach. It has to be, umbrella holistic approach. You mentioned there's this protocol of ALA, alpha lipoic acid, taken every 3 hours. Is it to, I want to understand the science, is it to support liver?
The reason why it's dosed every 3 hours is because that's its half-life. So if you stop taking it, whatever heavy metals is holding on to, once it's reached the half-life, it's going to let go of it.
We have done, in guys, our nerve pain is the name of the capsule. We have done the stabilized form, ARALA. That's the stabilized form, because in your body, ALA, it breaks down into R and S form, and R is the form which is the most effective one, but it's hard to it's hard to stabilize it. And we were the first company in India to make our ALA, and we put it in capsule. It's called nerve pain, because it's very helpful in people with diabetes who have nerve pain too. can people do themselves? For example, can if they are listening to you and they have, let's say, mercury filling, can they start with these four supplements, the one you said in the before, they take it for how many days?
I would say for at least 2 weeks of preparation before the removal. Okay.
Then go for the removal,
And then
and then
continue.
next day, on
Continue
the removal day, charcoal.
Yes. And then after the removal, charcoal again. And they can continue that for a couple of days as well.
Okay.
Just, any circulating mercury will be picked up in the guts and removed. And then you continue with the core supplements that I mentioned. They should continue long term, right?
Okay.
Whilst on the detox, because
Okay.
depending on how many fillings a person had, how many other toxins are at play, this detox protocol can take years to complete properly.
Yes,
Like
yes.
it did for me. It
How
took
many years you took?
It did a good. I would say it took like 2 to 3 years to complete it, because you have to start very low dose and do it very gradually, because otherwise there would be a lot of redistribution symptoms, and that can actually make things worse, right? Some people want to go all in and go high dose, but they'll end up suffering from the side effects if they do that. That might work with someone who's got a low level of toxins, who maybe only had one teeth filling and not for too long. It might be fine to even go for an IV method of chelation. But for someone like me who has had long-term exposure, it should be done slowly and safely. And that is what I teach my clients to do.
Now, let me get one step deeper. Do you think you got so many cavities because you were mineral deficient as a kid?
Definitely one of the root causes, but also I was a mouth breather.
You were a mouth breather.
I was
Are
a
you
mouth
still a
breather.
mouth breather?
No.
Earlier research shows that the kids were very heavy, the bones were heavy, and now the kids' bones are very light because mother, when she's pregnant, she doesn't have enough minerals, during pregnancy. And this is one of the reason why female dog, she eats her placenta after the birth because she wants to get that minerals back. So especially women are copper deficient, and copper deficiency then leads to iron deficiency, and then this whole cycle of losing hair. So yeah, so according to you, you had so many cavities. How did you train your body to back breathing from nose? Because I did that too.
So the first thing would be is get an assessment with an ENT doctor. So someone who specializes in the nose, to rule out any obstructions. Because if there's an obstruction, then you have to breathe through your mouth, right? So that needs to be fixed first. That was my situation. I had a deviated septum. I didn't know about it until my late 20s. So I got it surgically fixed. Then I could breathe through my mouth. And, I trained my mouth using tape.
Yeah,
once the
tape. Yeah,
once
I do tapes every night.
Exactly. Once the obstruction is fixed, then mouth tape is safe. But if there's an obstruction, you cannot use mouth tape.
Mouth tape, yeah. Mouth tapes, guys. Again, please use mouth tapes if there is no obstructions. Otherwise, you're gonna choke yourself.
Exactly.
Okay. And what about the minerals? How did you load up on your minerals?
So I took all the core supplements to begin with. I took some trace mineral drops, which was very useful. I just add that to my water. I use a good quality salt as well. So I'm using Redmond's real salts to get a natural form of mineral. So I've been doing that for years.
Yeah, guys. So I've told everybody in the morning, the first thing you do is take a pinch of Himalayan pink salt or Celtic salt and right under your tongue, to get the electrolytes in.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what we do. In Western country, people are also doing bone broth.
Bone broth, yeah, amazing. I've done a lot of that over the years for healing
I
my
can
gut
see
lining.
it from your skin. Your skin is so amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the most asked question is, when it comes to food items, what are the most toxic food items people should stop eating?
So what you need to do is go online and search for the Dirty Dozen. Right? The Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. These are the list of fresh produce that have the most pesticides on them. because when I'm doing this bioresonance testing on people, one of the top toxins that I see are actually pesticides now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pesticides.
And some
Exactly.
people, especially those on a plant-based diet, vegans or vegetarians, they have a lot of pesticides. So that's something that needs to be dealt with. Choosing organic when possible, but when not possible, soaking fruit and vegetables in baking soda and water and
Yeah.
vinegar for
Yeah.
at least 20 minutes.
We do that.
Just
yeah.
getting into that habit.
Mm.
That will help to remove up to 95% of surface pesticides,
Mhm.
but you can't do anything about what's on the inside,
Mm.
but that will help to limit
Okay,
the
so
load.
pesticides is coming. So, guys, this is a bioresonance machine. It's a Russian technology. I have done one story. Zakia was at my place and she gave me the whole protocol. Very amazing. And yes, so can you explain a little bit about your learnings from the machine? What did you learn? How trends are shifting because you've been using it since very long? And what is your generic advice when it comes to, okay, there is a pesticide exposure, what to do about it, other
Okay.
than washing properly?
Yeah. So with this machine, it's called bioresonance because it's frequency therapy, and it's a great tool for looking for root causes of health problems. All right. And it's preventative as well because you can see what could be coming in the future as a result of those root causes and then stop that from happening. So it works by measuring the frequency of every single organ in the body and looking for patterns of changes in those frequencies. And then within those patterns, they can be linked back to the root causes, such as toxins will change the frequencies in a particular way. Pathogens will do the same. Parasites, hormonal imbalances, stress. And I get to see every organ status. I get to see people's chakras as well, which is really important.
Yeah,
right?
chakras. Yeah.
It produces an auragram. So there are so many different parameters covered with this test. So I would call it the ultimate root cause screening test
Screening, yeah.
available.
Yeah.
If you want to check your overall health, see what's causing your symptoms or conditions, or maybe you don't have any health problems, but you want to see how to optimize, better yourself, this is a good starting point.
Yeah. So when you did it for me, it told me that if I ever die, I mean, the organ which is most affected, which is also understandable, is liver. Yeah. And one of the reason is my lipstick too. Although in your protocol, there were some brands written like Lit that are organic.
Yeah.
But I want to spill some beans here. Nobody knows yet, but I am making my own organic brand. It will be 2 years down the line.
Amazing.
So first sample came. The first sample of organic lipstick, 100% pure came. It never gave me the color, And the guy who's developing for us, he's a old, like very elderly man with a very good knowledge. He said, this is what pure is. Now you keep telling me how much organic synthetic you want to add. There's a percentage which gives you a tint, because natural colors or natural food grade colors, they just degrade with time. So I have to take a decision. So I stopped the project at the moment. I was like, I have to think about it. He's like, show me any brand you like. So yeah, I went to the website
The
of
Lit
Lit.
store, and you told him about that?
Yeah, I
Okay.
went to the Lit. I opened the ingredients, took a screenshot, sent to Mr. Dasgupta. And Mr. Dasgupta said, do you see this number? Now, they will not write that this is the color, Now, EWG, this is all being controlled now.
Yes,
When you talk about environmental groups, I mean, it's so hard. So I had to take a decision that I have to blend, but how much percentage? They said I can still make the purest lipstick for you, purest brand, but take it with, a pinch of salt. I was like, ooh, so that's the reality. You're not putting any makeup here other than
I've got Lit on right now.
you have Lit.
Yes, I'm wearing them.
Yeah. So they all have a little bit of color, little bit, like example, in your normal lipstick, it's, let's say, 40%.
Yeah.
and in lit would be, let's say, 7% or 5%. I'm trying to make something with 2%.
Is it not possible to use like natural colorants, like, I don't know, beetroot and
I
things
tell
like
you
that?
what
Yeah.
happened is I'm launching my skincare
Mm-hmm.
and all creams are white. Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to give them because I myself used Clinique, this Surge Moisture cream. It looks very beautiful, like pink.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put a food grade color, not a synthetic color,
Mm-hmm.
food always degrades. So they told me to sign a paper. They can make a pink beetroot or orange from oranges, but I had to sign a paper that it will, after 6 months, it changes the color. And I said, I can't do that. Just make all white. So all our creams, our serums that are coming are actually without any color, without any fragrance. You cannot put essential oils, and they are without the first brand ever in the world without preservatives like sodium benzoate and potassium sorbate. Took me 18 months. I know you will be very,
I
very
am.
happy.
I'm really
Zakia,
excited about this.
you are getting a kit definitely from me.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Excited.
When it comes to food items, you said, yeah, pesticides is one of the thing, but which is one thing if you have to choose sugar and vegetable oil, for example?
Oh, definitely. There should be no vegetable oil, seed oils in anybody's diet. It's not food.
It's not food.
It's an
exactly.
industrial lubricant.
Yeah.
That's what it was made for. And now why are people putting it in their food? No, it does not belong in the body at all. It's highly inflammatory. It's linked to heart disease, obesity, you name it, hypertension, all of those things. Okay, so that's one thing that's pretty obvious. And then when it comes to diet, it's highly personalized. Because, for example, someone who's on a plant-based diet, it might be working really well for them. Maybe they have kidney issues, so they're trying to avoid too much animal protein. That makes sense. It can be used as a cleansing diet as well. But someone who has small intestinal bacterial overgrowth is going to be so triggered on a plant-based diet, their symptoms are going to flare. They're going to be constantly bloated. So there's no one diet that suits everybody, and I don't believe in that at all. And this is another reason why I use bioresonance, because I want to tailor the diet to suit the needs of that individual. I treat everyone as an individual. I personalize their diet very specifically, and I tell them it's going to change. Your diet has to change at different times in your life. Right? Depending on what your body's going through, what it needs, what your health goals might be, what your symptoms are, which bacteria you have in your gut, if you have parasites,
Exactly.
Definitely,
we all have parasites.
Yeah, we do. Everyone has parasites. This is what they don't realize. And it's as simple as bringing your shoes into the home. It's not just about eating sushi and having pets. If you brought your shoes into the home, you have parasites, guaranteed. Parasite. And they're not all bad, by the way. They have a role to play in the body. They eat up, pathogens and toxins, and they hold on to those. So like they're a store of toxins within themselves. So they do have an important job to play. We don't want to kill them all, but it's about how many do you have? Have you become symptomatic? Are you experiencing malabsorption or nutrient deficiencies or sugar cravings? Well, this will be a sign. This will be a sign.
Yeah. Don't get scared about SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. We have nice functional doctors in India. They have very good protocols. Like they give enemas with probiotics. Yeah. So, and they even touch those bacteria that have made biofilms there, which are so hard and antibiotic resistant. So there are doctors we'll bring on but we all, do you think we all should do a parasite cleanse?
Everyone should do a yearly parasite cleanse as maintenance. And then if it's the first time someone's doing a cleanse, they might need to do it twice that year. And ideally, it should be timed around the full moon. And that's not witchcraft or hocus pocus. There's a reason for that. So around about the full moon is when parasites are actually reproducing. So they're more active. And when they're more active, they're easier to kill. They come out of hiding,
first of all, what is a mild protocol? Can somebody kill them with turmeric, for example,
No.
or ginger, or it has to be very aggressive? And can people do themselves?
You can do it yourself. There's a great product called Parasite Guardian. You can search for that. And it has a really good combination of different antiparasitics, which will target different strains of parasites because there's more than 300 different types. Some of them are worms, some of them are flukes, some of them are protozoa. So we want to target as many as possible. So this is a really good one. And it also includes enzymes which target the biofilm that parasites create. So it's a great all-in-one for someone who wants to just do it themselves. They can simply buy this, take it twice a day for 2 to 3 weeks. That will be a good cleanse to get the load down. If they need to repeat it in 6 months, if it's their first time, they can do that as well.
Can you tell me the name of the capsules again?
Parasite Guardian, and
Guardian.
it's by BioOptimizers.
Ah,
believe.
biooptimizers. Their mass enzymes are really good.
Yeah, some great products.
Okay, and they have to take 2 times a day away
Yes.
from the food.
Ideally on an empty stomach, because otherwise the enzymes will just be wasted on the food, right?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure there's no food in the way, so they absorb better, and those enzymes will then targeting the biofilm only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And for how many days?
If it's a new cleanse, like no one's ever done it before, then I would say 2 weeks, because there could be some die-off reactions from that process. Obviously, if you kill anything in the body, it's going to release its toxins, especially parasites that are holding on to toxins. So the more you kill, the more side effects you can
Side effects,
expect,
yeah,
which
yeah.
are called die-off reactions or Hux reactions. So your body also needs to be supported
Yeah.
in that
Yeah,
sense.
we get a lot of these detox symptoms from the liver detox. We have N-acetylcysteine. Somebody will get hives, and somebody will get a brain fog, headache. And guys, if you choose to do a parasitic cleanse by yourself, what you have to do is, and you cannot take the symptoms, they are too harsh, just pop in charcoal pills.
Yeah,
Charcoal
exactly.
should always be in home.
Definitely.
Yeah, in our house, every Friday is my daughter's sweet day.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's choose, because I don't want to disrupt this relationship between her and food. So if she choose McDonald's, it has to be McDonald's till she's old enough to tell her that what are the problems with vegetable oil, for example, which I'll come to this. So I give her a lot of charcoal, like 3 times a day on, and she's just 7. Because the day I don't give it, because of this overload, she would always, next day, she's very groggy. Yeah, you know, it comes second or third day. So guys, when it comes to vegetable oil, back to the one of the most toxic food item, because in India still people are still using vegetable oil for frying, you know, because the ghee and butter, they are very expensive, and not everybody can afford it, and they are using vegetable oil. So guys, there was a study done in Sydney. It's called diet study. It was 7 years randomized control trial, and they saw that there is 63% chances of mortality as compared to moderate smoking, inactivity, and sugar. Can you imagine this? Yeah, this vegetable oil is 63% more deadly than any of these things.
It's a killer, for sure. It's a killer.
It's a killer, yeah. So, parasitic cleanse, what are the symptoms again, so that people can
The
do? One is
die-off.
sugar cravings.
Sugar cravings, brain fog, cognitive dysfunction, especially around the full moon, mood swings around the full moon.
Oh, yeah.
That's another one.
Yeah.
Gut symptoms, other kinds of gut symptoms like bloating or constipation or diarrhea. But another important thing to note is someone should not be constipated whilst doing the parasite cleanse, because if they are not having regular bowel movements, that needs to be worked on first. Otherwise, they're going to kill parasites and there's nowhere for them to go.
Go out.
If they don't exit, there's going to be a lot more die-off reactions and redistribution of the toxins.
So if somebody is constipated, where should they start from?
So it depends again on what caused their constipation. There might need to be some diet changes as a basic. Maybe they need more fiber, or maybe they have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, so they need less fiber. So again, I need to see what their microbiome is saying. Maybe they have a sluggish thyroid. That also causes constipation. So that would need to be optimized if they have hypothyroid. Then there are supplements. They can take magnesium citrate, magnesium oxide. These are good for bowel movements at bedtime or throughout the day. Ginger is really helpful. Increasing vitamin C throughout the day to tolerance. That can also help to move bowels. So there's a number of different things. Triphala as well is great. Some of my clients
At
are using that.
bedtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
So yeah, loads of options to get bowel movements flowing, and also bile. Supporting the bile flow can help with bowel movements. So like I mentioned, green tea, tadka, anything that tastes bitter will start moving the bile, and that will have a knock-on effect on bowel movements too.
Okay, perfect. When it comes to toxins, is there any body part which is affected the most?
It depends on each person. So often there will be gut-related symptoms in most of the people who have toxicity, leaky gut. So toxins can damage the tight junctions of the intestinal barrier. Once we have leaky gut, now things are passing through into the bloodstream that don't belong there, like other toxins and pathogens and gluten, for example. So then we often get things like thyroid dysfunction and then other hormonal imbalances as a knock-on effect. And once the heavy metals reach the brain, then cognitive dysfunction, you name it, everything's there. I got told I had fibromyalgia, that I could be on the spectrum for multiple sclerosis, and it all turned out to be toxin-related illness. So
What are your thoughts about thyroid? Do you think thyroid is really a disease, or forget about autoimmunity? If somebody has leaky gut and Hashimoto's, not that part. Somebody who's just gaining weight and thyroid tests are normal. you know do you think thyroid is really a disease, or if a person functions on the liver, because your T4 to T3 conversion is happening in liver? We have like over 2000 cases where we have reversed the symptoms people were having. We just worked on their liver.
exactly. So I actually see thyroid issues as a symptom rather than a condition.
Yeah.
And like you said, it can be reversed depending on the root cause. So if it is a liver issue, definitely need to work on that. If it's a toxin issue, need to detox. If it's mold can also affect the thyroid. Loads of studies on that, where mold directly impacts the thyroid and hormone production. So detoxing mold and antifungal protocol can also reverse thyroid issues. So there's so many different factors. And then healing leaky gut as well. So making that intestinal membrane tight again, so that there are no gaps and these triggers are not passing through into the bloodstream like gluten. And whilst on a protocol, it might mean being on a particular diet, like a gluten-free diet, which can help with the healing process too.
Yeah, because one of the biggest thing is you go to a normal doctor, they say you are gaining weight, you are losing hair, your skin is rough, you are feeling cold, but your thyroid tests are normal. Now wait, you go to a functional doctor, and functional doctor says everything is normal, but why not your T3 hormone? For example, if the range is 2 to 4, just an example, why is it 2.8 and not 3.9? They tell you have subclinical hypothyroid symptoms.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference.
Exactly.
And that can be reversed with diet, with supplements.
100%. Yeah. So it's a big problem with the way conventional doctors look at lab results. This is why I like to look at them myself personally. I always ask my clients, send me your lab results. They'll tell me, well, the doctor said it's fine, it's normal. And I was like, no. Send them to me, because the range is like this, but the optimal is like this. We want to be here. We don't want to be just in range. That doesn't mean you're okay. You can still be symptomatic in the range. We want to be in the right place on the range. So often I will look at the thyroid numbers from my clients and be like, you need help, you need support, your thyroid is sluggish, we need to work on that. And so we do.
And how do you work on thyroid?
Depending on where their levels are, I have a functional doctor contact that I send them to who uses natural desiccated thyroid. So that's much better than just T4
But it's banned
only.
in Dubai.
There is a way of getting it with
Really?
this doctor, yeah.
Yeah, we must talk.
Yeah, so it's a combination of T3 with T4,
okay.
from a compounding pharmacy. And that is a much better way to manage thyroid symptoms. There's usually a lot of relief from switching to that.
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, I have given my father after 50, I think every can support their thyroid a little bit. You know, that's my thinking. We do not suggest hormones to our clients, but when it comes to my family, you know, I give desiccated thyroid to my dad, yeah, and to my mom too. My mom has like she had proper autoimmune condition. Now her antibodies are very low, but she still has thyroid. And I told her, so many people come to us, we want to leave the medicine. No, don't leave the medicine. You know, it's okay to have medicine, only the symptoms should not be there. But for my dad doesn't, his reports are normal, but in my eyes they are not normal. So we do not give hormones to our clients, we send them to the doctor. But guys, please do consult a functional doctor and ask that doctor, let's say also your normal doctor, why T3 especially, which is controls your metabolism and so many other things, why T3 is lower range. It should be always in higher range.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why a combination of T3 and T4 works much better, whilst on a protocol to reverse the root cause of the thyroid issue. Yeah. It's still a band-aid. It's still not the solution. We still need to look into, why are you having hypothyroid in the first place?
Yeah.
So that's the way
one of the biggest reason in our case, you know, the cases that I have seen is now stress, for example. And when I say stress, people do not understand what stress is. And the way I speak, I take 2 breaths between each word, but still when I check my HRV here, it's amazing. It says that I'm running on stress. I mean, it's so amazing, because what happened is, when you have this mother hormone called pregnenolone. Now, pregnenolone can either be converted it into cortisol, or it can be converted into progesterone, you know. And since it's see that you are watching Instagram and reels and notification and environmental toxins, it gets more converted into cortisol, and your progesterone's conversion doesn't happen. So you get estrogen dominance, and that's how you get fibroids. One of the biggest reasons. But guys, there's an app, I'll tell you after that. I got to know about this app yesterday from my bestie, and this app, you can kind of put that Facebook and Instagram, whatever apps you want to get rid of in your life, you can put timings when I can get access to them. And after that, my HRV increased actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's such an amazing app.
It's good to know. I'll have to try that
It's called Watch Time.
Watch Time.
Yeah, do watch it. But yeah, guys, stress is a big thing.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I see that that's one of the root causes that I also pick up on by resonance. Comes up with cortisol derangement, which means their cortisol's messed up. And why? It's because they're chronically stressed in one way, shape, or form. Whether it's emotional, mental stress, that's one thing, but also physical, chemical stress on the body. Yeah. So for some people, it's, you know, athletes, it's a physical stress. Chemical stress will be the toxin overload, you know. So all of that can lead to cortisol imbalances. And that's something that, you know, we need to address by firstly trying to limit stress, which is usually the hardest thing to do. But then you can take things like adaptogens to help manage stress levels.
Yeah. Right? So guys, ashwagandha, holy basil, L-theanine, L-tyrosine, these are the ingredients of our supplement called anxiety. GABA.
Love the name.
Yeah, it's called anxiety plus calm.
Okay.
Yeah, and it has GABA, L-tyrosine, 5-HTP,
Mhm.
L-theanine, ashwagandha, holy basil. Yes,
That
these.
sounds like an amazing blend. I'm going to start using that with my clients for sure.
Yeah, so do you give them extracts or do you give them herbs
Herbs, usually
directly?
herbs, yeah.
Yeah, but I also tried. Let me
Mm.
take 2 grams herb. How you drink that thing?
Yeah, I mean, I've been using mostly rhodiola with my clients for now, with some good impacts on their health. Sometimes ashwagandha, but I try and rotate the adaptogen every 3 months so the body doesn't get used to it. That's another thing that people don't realize. Should be rotated every 3 months for most effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you manage your stress? Because I don't see under. You have a son, right?
I have 2 boys.
You have 2 boys.
Yeah.
How old is he?
13 and 8. So
13
they're a
and 8.
little bit more independent now, so it's getting easier to
Easier.
take care of them.
But I don't see on your body, on your face, that there is any sign of that body wants to retain fat. I see a lovely metabolism, flat
Thank
tummy.
you.
So I'm very sure you're going to get a lot of compliments. And how do you manage your stress?
So one of my most important things is earthing
Oh, thing, yeah.
and catching the sunset.
Hmm.
So I usually go to the sea in the evening almost every day. This is like usually part of my daily routine. If I don't, I really miss it. Like I feel the difference. So earthing is really important for me. Watching the sun go down, getting those different rays in my eyes, swimming in the sea. This is one of my favorite things to do to de-stress. And singing.
Yeah.
I love to sing.
Okay.
Great for the vagus nerve
The
activation. Yeah, humming, sing. I sing
humming.
every day in the car. You know, whenever I'm driving anywhere, the songs will be playing. I'm singing.
Yeah.
So those are the top 2 things.
Yeah, because when you sing, I do Bollywood Jatka song, which like nobody would ever imagine this girl who is sophisticatedly dressed up, and suddenly I will go and I do this and people judge me. I still do it. Because what happen is the people who doesn't understand and have too many filters, they anyway purge off from your life.
Yeah.
So I do that too. I sing a lot.
Well, we need to have a karaoke session then, you and me.
Yes, but I will sing Bollywood.
Okay, that's fine. I'm good with it. I'll dance in the background while you're singing.
Do you go to gym?
I go to the gym. I'll go maybe 2 or 3 times a week, but usually I work out at home. I have a yoga mat. I like to do yoga. I like to do things like wall Pilates. That makes me feel good. Stretching. I usually stretch every morning.
Oh, yes.
This is really important
I
for me.
take online exercises Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Okay. So what I do is I take their heartbeat up, like especially high intensity style.
Yeah.
And then I take their heartbeat down for this growth hormones boost. And when I take their heartbeat down, I tell them to put their legs on the wall. Where did I read it from?
Well,
from your protocol book.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Because there is a section called lymphatic drainage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And there is written trampoline. Trampoline I was always doing. We have this morning when my daughter gets up, we do a Surya Namaskar. We salute sun salutation, and then we go and we rebound on trampoline.
Amazing.
Yeah. And now, can you tell people, because then more women will join me for my workouts because they are all science-based guys. Why do we keep our legs straight on the wall and kind of lie down like an L?
Yeah, so we want to improve our drainage system. This is the lymphatic system. It's the fluid that's everywhere in the body, and it's involved in detoxing. So if we're just sitting in one position and we're not moving our bodies much, this fluid is not going to flow very well. It becomes stagnant, and then we become more toxic, right? So it's amazing to just get everything moving, get everything, all the toxins draining, putting your legs up against the wall. This is one simple thing that you can do. You can make it part of your bedtime routine even. Jumping, dry brushing is a great technique as well. So it only takes a couple of minutes out of your day. It's an excellent habit.
Yes. What else for lymphatic? What differences people see when they start doing kind of lymphatic routine, what you have told?
Yeah, so they might notice that they are feeling more energetic, especially if they're doing the jumping. Come on.
Yeah.
For me personally, when I invert myself, I do it over the side of the edge of the sofa. So I get a full inversion, not just my legs. I feel much more awake. I like to do that in the morning. So increased energy, better cognitive function if
Mm.
you're putting more blood flow into your head. And even people have noticed their hair grows better when
Mm.
they do that,
Mm.
you know. So many health benefits from just this very simple act of inverting your body or your legs.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, in my house back in Jalandhar, we have this swing, cloth swing, where for the inversion, it's just better for your spine too.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Great for your back, which I have a lot of back issues from driving all the time, right? I'm always on the road. So that's one of the reasons why I do it too. Just to
Okay.
lengthen my spine or stretch it out a little bit. It really
Okay.
helps. Yeah.
Okay. Last question, Zakia. I'm very curious. How many times you eat? What do you eat? And do you fast?
So usually I'll have 3 meals a day if I'm not too busy. Sometimes I'll skip one meal. If I'm doing an intermittent fast, I'll skip breakfast. But I only advise that for women in the first half of their cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually working with their hormones, not against their hormones,
Mm-hmm.
because that can also be a stress on the body, right? It
Yes.
works better for men any time of the month for them. It's fine. They get the benefits. So 2 to 3 meals a day. I have vegetables, animal protein, low carbs. I'm trying to reduce sugar completely. I don't feel the need for sugar anyway because I don't crave it. It took some time to get into the habit of that. But once you train your taste buds, you no longer feel the need for sugar. And that's where I am now. Well, I just don't feel the need for sugar anymore. So, yeah, just an overall healthy, balanced diet, one that works with my gut, not against it. I like to include things like bone broth, so that's healing, or I take a collagen supplement as well
Mm-hmm.
to make sure I'm taking care of the lining of my gut. Lots of good quality water. Hydration is important, right? It's not just about quantity, it's about quality. There should be minerals in it.
Yeah.
No one should be drinking tap water. In the UK, where I'm from, I was brought up drinking tap water.
Really?
Lot of toxins in tap water, as we know, as we can
Whoa.
expect. And most people there are still drinking tap water.
Mm-hmm.
Don't advise it. So what's the alternative? And plastic bottled water isn't great either, because studies have shown there's a high amount of microplastics now in water. So what do we do about that? The easiest thing is to get a reverse osmosis filtration system, and they'll just put it under your kitchen sink.
Yeah, in
Right?
India, everybody has a RO. The only
Exactly.
thing is, it just removes all minerals,
Yeah, so
even
you
the
want
good
it to
ones.
be remineralized.
Yeah, by
Yeah,
putting some salt, guys.
exactly. So remineralizing is very important. Otherwise, yes, it's just dead water.
Yeah,
You can add hydrogen to it as well. I love
yeah.
to add hydrogen tablets to my water. I feel the difference
Why
with that.
don't you buy that hydrogen generator?
I was looking into that actually.
Yeah,
That's something I'm thinking to do
the
next.
yeah. There's send you some links.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah. Because generally, the ones on the market, these hydrogen generators, the hydrogen is only for 30 minutes. You have to
You have to
drink
drink
within.
it really quick.
Yeah, but then there's another company. They have made a technology, so it's whole day there. So me and my daughter, we are doing hydrogen water in the morning. Very good to reduce inflammations, guys. Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So if people wanna contact you or wanna hear more of your lectures, do you have any social media handles? How do they contact you?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at origin.healing. I've got loads of content there, so it's a great place to learn more information. And I have a website, it's joinoriginhealing.com. And everyone's entitled to a free discovery call.
Her protocols are not like buying a pill.
Mm.
She works like very much like functional doctors. She gonna get into root cause, lot of questions. You have to work maybe 6 months with her, 3 months with her. So get ready mentally before you contact her, because she's gonna tell you a lot of tests, because otherwise it will be waste of your time and their time. It's really a commitment. Maybe you stop going to trips for next 6 months. It's only your health, because I saw her protocol. There were like lot of things that needs to be changed. It's really like toxin.
It's
Yeah.
information overload. But we have to prioritize our health, right? There's nothing more valuable to us than our health. So,
Yes.
yeah, that's why I'm doing this.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Zakia. Thank you for your
Welcome.
time.
Thank you for having
And
me.
we will put all her handles, links in the description below. Please, guys, feel free. Very, very talented person, can definitely help you take your health game to next level. Thank you so much.